Life becomes physically heavy when we try to move forward while anchored to events that ended years ago. These invisible weights, memories, regrets, and old pain demand a constant toll from our nervous systems, making the simple act of existing feel like a climb against a gale force wind. Eli arrived at a remote mountain retreat center, seeking a silence his own mind wouldn't allow. He was 24, and he was tired of carrying a history he couldn't outrun. Growing up, Eli dealt with a constant cycle of arguments and broken trust. Those years left him with a brain that viewed every social interaction as a puzzle to be solved or a threat to be managed. This is trauma filtering. It's a survival mechanism where the brain forces every new experience through a distorted lens of past pain. When a friend is quiet, the lens interprets it as hidden anger. When a stranger smiles, the lens triggers a threat response, searching for a hidden motive. This filtering didn't stop just because the scenery changed. In the quiet of the mountains, Eli's mind manufactured tension where there was none, convincing him that the staff were talking behind his back and that the peace around him was a lie. A serene environment cannot override a nervous system that is still actively processing the present through the unhealed injuries of the past. To find peace, he had to address the filter itself. Eli eventually hit a wall. He told the retreat leader that he was exhausted by the loop of old insults and arguments playing in his head. He was trapped in a cycle of rumination he couldn't break. He could see that these memories were the source of his fatigue, but he didn't know how to stop the process. He understood the problem intellectually, yet his hands remained clenched around his pain. The leader pointed to a cabin on the far mountain ridge where a teacher named Walter lived. Walter had spent 40 years studying the mechanics of the mind in solitude, and she believed he was the only one who could show Eli how to let go. Eli left immediately. He hiked down through the valley and up the opposite slope, fueled by a desperate hope that there was a practical way to end the noise. Awareness is the first step, but it's often the most painful one. Realizing you are burdened is useless if you have forgotten the physical sensation of opening your hands. When Eli reached the cabin, he was trembling from the hike and his own internal frustration. He laid out his life story for Walter, expecting a deep philosophical explanation for why his mind wouldn't let him be. Walter's response was purely physical. Before they spoke, he asked Eli to help him carry a heavy rock down to the village for lunch. He didn't explain why. He just asked Eli to pick it up. Eli assumed this was a test of character or a symbolic ritual. He hoisted the rock onto his shoulder, prepared to prove his dedication to the mentor. The walk was a nightmare. The weight of the rock forced Eli to focus entirely on his own pain. With every step, the pressure increased, his muscles burned, and the simple act of balance became a struggle for survival, while Walter walked ahead, unburdened. This is a physical representation of cognitive load. Just as the rock demands physical effort, holding on to past trauma requires an active, metabolic cost. Every time your brain ruminates on an old hurt, it pulls energy away from your ability to experience the present. We often think of our past as something that just exists behind us, but for someone like Eli, it is an active expenditure. He was draining his present life force to keep his old wounds alive. Eli thought about dropping the rock dozens of times, but each time he told himself that he had to finish what he started, that the pain was necessary to earn the teacher's wisdom. This is the illusion of obligation. The mind convinces itself that carrying guilt or anger is a duty. We believe that if we stop hurting, we betray the truth of what happened to us, trapping our own energy in a cycle of self-imposed suffering. When they finally reached the village, Eli was on the verge of collapse. He dropped the rock and turned to Walter with a mixture of exhaustion and rage, finding the old man sitting calmly in the shade. The most difficult weights to shed are the ones we've convinced ourselves we are required to carry. We suffer not because we have to, but because we've forgotten we have a choice. Eli demanded to know why he had been forced to suffer through the walk. He wanted the secret to clearing his mind, not a lesson in manual labor. Walter simply asked, "Why didn't you just put it down?" Eli argued that he had been told to carry it. Walter pointed out that while he asked Eli to pick it up, he never said how far to go. The suffering wasn't part of the request. It was a result of Eli's own refusal to let go of the task. This stone is the memory of your past. The memory itself is static and powerless, resting on the path. The exhaustion you feel doesn't come from the memory's existence, but from your decision to hoist it back onto your shoulders every single morning. Your trauma lens colors how you see the world, but the weight comes from the active energy you spend holding that moment close. The bridge to healing is the realization that while you cannot change the path behind you, you are the one choosing which rocks to carry forward today. The tension in Eli's shoulders began to dissipate. He realized the mountain hadn't changed, and his history hadn't vanished. He simply stopped the active work of clinging to his pain, and in that stillness, he finally found the quiet he had been looking for. Who told you that your suffering is a permanent part of your identity? Identify one piece of your past that you are currently spending your energy to maintain. Recognize that the energy is yours, and you can choose to spend it elsewhere. Inner peace is not a gift you find. It is the natural state that returns when you stop the exhausting work of carrying what no longer belongs to you.